Good morning. You're welcome to another edition of Import Export Platform, Facebook Live from 3 Timpest Trade Academy. And my name is Dele Ayemibo. We'll continue our conversation on AFCFTA, the what, the why, and how to export to Nigeria. How to export to Nigeria. You know, like I've said repeatedly, that this program is meant for Nigerians who want to import into Nigeria and foreigners that want to export to Nigeria. You know, when I finished yesterday, someone came on this platform and he said, fraud, this is a fraud. And some Nigerians were asking him, how, why, how? And I was telling them, look, there's no point talking to this kind of person. It's not his fault, because a lot of Nigerians have had a lot of issues with internet fraud. So if they see anything, anybody doing anything, no matter how grand and good it is, but it's Nigeria related, they are not interested. So I can understand. I can understand the issues they have. But I told him that, look, he just basically says who he is, because that means you don't even care who, you don't need to hear from people. You just assume everybody who carry a green passport is a Nigerian online, is a fraudster. Wow, what a way to think. It's like you are from India, I guess. Sami Ali, sorry, not Sami Ali, what was his name again? Rajiv Maya, I think he's from, it's maybe India and Far East, India, Pakistan. And I say, okay, because there are cheats, fraudsters, hackers in India. So everybody in India is a fraudster. Anybody I see online is a fraudster. Anyway, let me come to what I have to discuss today. I just wanted to mention that it's unfortunate, but and I have to tell him that he said, beware, beware fraud, cheater. And I said, beware of false accuser, accusing someone he has never met, or he has never or has any dealing with. You have not met him, you have not dealing with him, you just assume he is. Alright, so let's move on to our conversation today. We're still discussing why, how, and what to export to Nigeria. But I'm on part 29 today, and I'm looking at import prohibition. A number of items are prohibited for import into Nigeria. A number of items are prohibited for import into Nigeria. Some are outrightly prohibited. Some are technically prohibited. Some are directly and outrightly prohibited by the agency, by law, who is allowed by law to do that, otherwise called the Ministry of Finance, working with custom. But some are technical prohibition, which will prevent you from bringing those items in, or at least reduce the number of people that can bring it in because of the barrier to be crossed. When Nigeria went into recession, CBN came up with a lot of regulations to solve that problem. The problem of Nigerians being unable to import some item that government deemed to be not too good for the economy in terms of the value they are adding to us. And of course, government is in best position to know what they want. Only that sometimes we can criticize some of those things, but we should also criticize constructively. You know, they don't need to accept what you think, but it's good. It's very good. You just make your thought known. I don't like criticizing without providing an alternative. I feel that is too weak, that is too primitive, and that is just hate. If you are criticizing that, oh, you've not done right, then you should also propose, this is what I think you should have done. And when you do that also, sometimes we might just realize that you also don't have a better idea. And that will also help us to put you in perspective. So the government came up with a number of things. I have more of the opinion that in as much as the government is trying to do this to manage the foreign exchange, that for me is not a sustainable model. And I think CBN is trying to do the sustainable one in the sense that CBN is doing what we call some level of financing. Some level of financing for exports. Sorry, I saw a news of some of the opposition of the Buhari government commending him because of the economic team he set up. So, and I think that's balance. That's balance. You know, some people, no matter what someone do, no matter what the person has done, they will never see anything good in it. And I think that's just unfair. I think if you are going to criticize based on information at hand and not your premonition or your suspicion, but on the fact at hand. So if the government is taking some step and there are steps being taken to fix the problem, why not? You know? Why not? And that's very important. That's so important. That's very important and so important because we should look at things objectively and then be able to recommend. So when I do this, if I have issue with what government propose, I will say it and I will say what I think the government should do. So let me give you an example. Government came up with the prohibition list, and the prohibition list was designed to restrict some items from entering Nigeria. In the real sense of the word, what government was trying to do is to minimize the usage of our forex and to create jobs locally. Brilliant idea. I think if a family does not have enough income to take care of the family members, in as much as it's great to reduce expenses, in as much as it's great to reduce costs of living or expenses, I think it's a lot better if it's good to reduce expenses. It's best to increase income. So instead of just reducing the rate of utilization of FX, I think it should be two-pronged approach. Also increase the rate of generation of that FX. Increase the rate of generation of that FX. Why am I saying that? So at the end of the day, you don't just focus only on reducing, because if you reduce your expenses, as long as you are not increasing your income and the expense is more than the income, it's just a matter of time. Like someone said, that we are living on borrowed time. So that's why it was great that eventually CBN came up with this idea of export facilitation initiative and making fund available for some agri-product. Brilliant. That's why also it was great that the president signed the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Brilliant. So we should not just think that, okay, we want to increase our expenses, reduce our expenses, but not doing much in the area of increasing income. So by this I mean we should increase income generated via export. While we are reducing the utilization of FX, we should increase income generated via export. And that is so critical and so important. Increasing income generated via foreign exchange, via export. That's FS, income generated via export. That's so critical, very crucial, and also very important. Very crucial and also very important. So I would rather say, okay, while we are on one hand reducing our expenses, we should also, on the other hand, increase our income. And that's my recommendation for the Nigerian government. That's my recommendation for the Nigerian government, and from CBN in particular. So like I said, I will commend the effort. Being made to make the situation a lot manageable and better. I will commend that effort. That's make a lot of sense. So now, I would like to go through that list. First of all, why do nations prohibit import? Import prohibition involves regulatory restriction imposed by a sovereign nation on the influx of certain goods into the country. This is often done by different countries for a number of reasons, and this includes protecting the home industry that produce substitute, restricting trade dealings with a particular country for political reasons, to protect the hazard of the citizen, to protect the hazard of the citizen, to prevent the country from being used as dumping ground, to prevent the country from being used as dumping ground, to encourage local production of that item, to encourage local production of that item, to encourage local production of that item. And this is very important. Very, very important. Nations must prohibit items. Why? If they don't prohibit items, their country will become a dumping ground. If they don't prohibit items, their country will become a dumping ground. And I love the idea of Nigeria prohibiting some items. So if you are importing into Nigeria or exporting to Nigeria and you want to know the item prohibited, you can check customs.gov.ng/prohibition list/import.php/prohibition list-import/import.php. I think I should drop that on that group. Let me drop that on the group. Sorry, I'm trying to go to the open the link so I can drop the, and this is very important because you need to know what Nigeria prohibits. And what I'm talking about now is the general prohibition. General prohibition. I'm going to also talk about the technical prohibition by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Technical prohibition by the Central Bank of Nigeria. But I'm looking now at general provision. General provision. Prohibition. There are items prohibited generally. There are items prohibited technically. There are items prohibited generally. There are items prohibited technically. The item prohibited generally, like I said earlier, are the items prohibited by the fiscal policy, organization or fiscal policy MDA. The MDA involved in fiscal policy. The MDA involved in fiscal policy. The MDA involved in fiscal policy in Nigeria is the Ministry of Finance. Is the Ministry of Finance. All right, I've been able to. Okay, sorry. The import prohibition list. All right. Sorry, I always want to ensure that we go along with ourselves. All right. So you can see the import prohibition list of Nigeria. I've just dropped it now. There you will see live or dead birds, pork, beef, bird egg, refined vegetable oil, cane or cane sugar, cocoa butter, spaghetti and noodles, fruit juice, water, bagged cement, some medicament, some medicine, waste pharmaceuticals, soap and detergent, mosquito repellent coil, corrugated paper, tomato paste, ballpoint pen, used motor vehicles above 15 years, used compressors, hollow gas bottles, all type footwear, bag and suitcases, carpet and other textile floor covering, telephone recharge card, corrugated paperboard, retreaded and used pneumatic tires, mosquito repellent. These are all prohibited items from in Nigeria. Prohibited item in Nigeria. And I've just dropped the links for you. I've just dropped the links for you. I've just dropped the links for you. But these are the one prohibited by the agency involved in this fiscal policy. The agency involved in this fiscal policy. Okay, there is still some other lists that the one I listed before, the HS code were specifically stated. But there are some other items that are absolutely prohibited, irrespective of the HS code. Airpiece 2, photographic printing paper, pirated materials, bead composed of inflammable celluloid, blank invoices, coupon for foreign football pool, cowries, exhausted tea or mixed tea substance, implement appertaining to reloading cartridges, manilas, matches, indecent or obscene print, meat and vegetable product, material of any description with design which considering for the purpose for which such material is being used, likely in the opinion of the president to create a breach of peace in the country, peace to disguise in any form, second-hand clothing, that's okrika. Okrika is highly prohibited, but you still find it in the market. Silver or metal alloy coin, nuclear waste or toxic waste, spirits like alcohol, bitters, brandy, drugs, gin, methylated ordination spirit, imported spirit for medical purposes, distilled spirit, whiskey, weapon of any description, noxious gases and liquid. They are absolutely prohibited. Absolutely prohibited. I'm taking time to go through this prohibition list because of how important they are. Remember, nations prohibit items for different reasons. For the health of their citizens, to encourage local production, to prevent the country between and dumping ground. Now, dumping in international trade is not dumping as in dumping waste. No. That's also one of the key government corps, but that's not what dumping means in international trade. Dumping is said to happen in international trade when I export an item I'm producing into a country and sell it in that country at a price that is lower than the price I'm selling it in my country. For example, if a product costs $5 equivalent in Nigeria, $5 equivalent in Nigeria, and I got into the international market, I'm selling it at $4, and that $4 is lower than my own local price and lower than the export local price, the export market's local price. That means it's lower locally, it's lower abroad. If it's lower locally and not lower abroad, no problem. You are still not very competitive, so you are not destroying their market. But if it's lower at home and lower abroad, it is dumping. If it is lower at home, it is higher at home and lower abroad, and that lower is such that it's lower than the local market, that is dumping. 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 You're dumping the goods, and what dumping basically does, it kills the local market. What does that do? Of course, that will kill jobs in your country. Of course, that will destroy jobs in your country. So, nations fight against dumping so as to ensure that their local companies stay afloat. Nations fight against dumping so as to ensure that the local companies stay afloat. Else, the local company will be killed, the local company will be destroyed, the local company will be destroyed, and that will make it difficult to create jobs. You need to understand the fact that exports are done for different reasons. Not everybody is doing exports solely for the purpose of profit. Some exports are strategic exports to make a statement, to create an impression. And the implication of that is that export eventually achieve an objective in the market beyond profit. Sometimes it's to make a statement. Sometimes to make a statement. Sometimes it's to make a statement. Sometimes to show the world what we are now producing in our country. It's to show the world what we are now producing in our country. Sometimes it's to make a statement. I've been running off now and continue in the evening. And in the evening, I'll be looking at the technical prohibition. This morning, I've looked at the general prohibition that is orchestrated by the Minister of Finance having the power for that fiscal policy. But in the evening, I'll be looking at technical prohibition done by an agency that does not have power to prohibit import, but has power to restrict how much you can utilize forex for your import. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Dele Ayimibo. Kindly remember to share this video with your friends, colleagues, allies who might be interested in the Nigerian market. In the evening, I'll come back to you to continue discussing import prohibition in Nigeria. Bye for now.